Hey guys, Sean from Living Seeds, your seed guru. This morning we are talking about planting garlic, and garlic needs to be planted in a specific way to ensure your success. Let's quickly talk about when to plant garlic so that you can ensure that you get good garlic at the end of the season. The garlic planting window is from the middle to late February all the way to the end of April in South Africa. So what you are looking to do is you want to get your garlic into the ground in that window. So that window, and I'll repeat it again, from middle to late February to the end of April. If you're down in the Cape, all the way through to the end of April. If you in the Highveld or in the Drakensberg, you want to get it in sort of late February, middle of March would be really great, just to get that nice growing season in before winter sets in. The reason you're aiming for as much top growth as possible is you're looking for a robust plant going into spring. You don't want to have a plant that is limping into spring with a low amount of foliage on the top, because that foliage equals the amount of energy that the garlic plant can produce. Let's talk about the actual garlic cloves that you're going to be planting. So this is a garlic variety called Donostia Red. It's an absolutely beautiful variety. And what you're looking at doing is you're looking at taking your clove and you want to break the clove up so that you have individual cloves. So you can see over here, I mean, this one's got some very nice cloves over here. And look at that beautiful color. Let's just break this basal plate off over here. What you want to do is you just want to break the garlic up in as many cloves as possible. Whoops, drop that one over there. So there you go. So there are your Donostia cloves. You can see that a couple of cloves have got the actual skin exposed over here. That is not a crisis. All that needs to happen is it needs to go into the ground. The idea with your garlic is you only want to break your garlic right before you plant. The only variety that we supply that is pre-broken is Giant, because the Giant garlic actually has beautiful cloves like almost this size, which is really great. But as you break your garlic, if you break your garlic a week or 2 or 3 weeks before you're planting, what happens is that the garlic starts to dry out through this scar where it was attached to the basal plate. So prep your garlic the night before or on the day of planting. That would be the best way to do it. So there's a couple of things you need when you're planting your garlic. First of all, you need your cloves nicely separated. You need some calcitic lime. We use either bone meal or we use calcitic lime. This over here, we're using calcitic lime. And you need Vitagreen. So the reason why you use Vitagreen at planting is Vitagreen stimulates top growth. It stimulates leaf growth. And our goal is we want as much top growth on the garlic plant before winter sets in. To get that done, use Vitagreen. And the last thing you need is you need some kind of tool to open up the holes for the garlic. And this is what we use. This is an old garden fork. We took out the 2 center tines, and this gives us our spacing for the garlic plants. Those of you that have been to Living Seeds Farm, you've seen our show garden, you know we're in our show garden. What we're doing over here is we're going to plant every single garlic variety in this bed so that you can come to Living Seeds Farm, see how all of the different garlic varieties look as they're growing. They all look like garlic, but they all do look slightly different. So what we're doing, we have our drip irrigation over here. We have our special a garlic planting tool. We've got a whole lot of these because we plant a lot of garlic on Living Seeds Farm. And it's very simple. All you do is you push this down and you make a hole in the ground, and you're looking for approximately 15 centimeters apart. And you can see that some of these over here, the spacing is right. Spacing is right over here. That's a little bit close, but it's not really a crisis. And we just do the exact same thing again. Now, you can see that we're not working out exactly where our emitters are on the drip irrigation. And if you've seen our drip irrigation video, and I'm going to put a link to that over here so you can see our drip irrigation video, you'll know that our drip irrigation waters all the way to the center between these garlic varieties. And now, let's just move this out of the way over here. Now it's a case of planting the garlic. So when you broke the garlic off, there's a sharp side and there's a little scar where it was attached to the basal plate of the garlic head. So you want to plant it with the scar facing down so that this sharp piece just grows straight up. And now it's simply a case of putting your garlic cloves into the holes, and the depth that you want to plant it is approximately 3 times the size of the clove. So this clove over here, you can see that I'm pushing it quite deep into the soil. You push it down just to make sure that it's nice and deep inside the soil. So let me plant these 3 lines. If you found any value in this video and you want to grow giant garlic like this, please like and subscribe. Your like, your subscribe ensures that this video goes out to more South African gardeners. While I'm talking about planting garlic, let's discuss the depth and the different depths that you can plant the garlic at. So if you are in a cold environment where you have nice cold winters, like the Highveld or Drakensberg, you can plant them quite shallowly. 3 times the length of the height of the garlic is good. However, if you're in an area where the winters are quite warm, so let's say you're in Limpopo or you are in KwaZulu-Natal, what you want to be doing is you want to be planting the garlic much deeper. And you can go, let me show you. So if you are in a warm area, if you're in a cold area, you want to plant it 3 times as deep. But if you're in a really warm area, increase your planting depth. So you can increase your planting depth up to 6-7 times the height of the garlic clove. And what this does is it puts the garlic clove deeper inside the soil where the soil is cooler. We've now planted our garlic. The next important thing to do is to put our calcium down. We want to put our lime down. We want to put our fertilizer down. On Living Seeds Farm, we don't use the small bags. We use 25 kilo bags of Talborn. But yeah, so you want to put your calcium down. You want to put your high nitrogen fertilizer, which is Vita Green. And once that's done, you can put your mulch on top of the bed. And we will mulch this bed once all of the garlic varieties have been planted. So let's just go. Put our calcium down, and it's literally, that is the amount of calcium that you put down. And then the fertilizer. That's plenty fertilizer. You don't want to over fertilize it. Let's just cover fertilizer use a little bit more so you can understand where we are coming with our fertilizer recommendations. So we recommend that you start your planting off with a high nitrogen fertilizer like the Talborn Organics Vita Green. We've been using it for years. We're exceptionally happy with it. So garlic has 2 fertilizer requirements. If you're using, and I need to reiterate this, if you're using organic fertilizer, there are 2 fertilizer slots that you want to lock in on your garlic plants to ensure a great harvest. Your first fertilizer slot is at planting. You want to put a high nitrogen fertilizer down. Talborn Organics, you put the fertilizer down, it's good for a minimum of 3 months. This is not a chemical fertilizer where you got to put fertilizer down every couple of weeks. Farmers that use chemical fertilizers, they're fertilizing every couple of weeks because 90% of the fertilizer actually gets washed out of the soil. With the Talborn Organics, that fertilizer, it literally builds the soil, it gets locked into the soil, and that fertilizer application lasts you for a minimum of 3 months. So that 3 months that your application now, so it's March, April, May, your garlic stops growing around June, it goes dormant in winter. And then your next fertilizer application is going to be in spring. As soon as the day length increases, it starts to warm up, you want to do a second mulching. But before you do that second mulching, you want to do an application of the Talborn Organics Vita Grow, which is a 2-3-2 balanced fertilizer, and that'll stimulate the production of nice big heads. Even though you're using an organic fertilizer, you can still over fertilize your crop. You can still actually damage your soil with an organic fertilizer, because it's a fertilizer and you're adding chemicals to your soil, even though they are organic chemicals. Our garlic is in the ground, our fertilizer's down, our lime is down. The only thing that's left to do is to mulch the garlic. We'll be mulching this garlic later today once this entire line has been planted.